The medical examiner notified you on April 28th, 2022, that the manner of death, in her words, could not be determined. Is that right?
Yes.
She would not rule, at least in terms of the manner of death, would not rule this a homicide. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you agree that that's obviously a pretty significant finding.
Her finding doesn't alter how we conduct our investigation, whether if it's undetermined or ruled a homicide. We're still going to continue to investigate one way, regardless of her determination.
You were not pleased with that determination, right?
It didn't matter one way or the other because, like I said, we continue on with the investigation.
On April 28th, that same day, you received a text message from Trooper DeChico, correct?
Yes.
Do you see a text message received from Trooper DeChico with a photograph of the autopsy report?
Yes.
And that autopsy report indicates undetermined, is that right?
For manner, yes.
In response, you wrote a text message to DeChico, correct?
I did.
What was your response?
Of course, it's undetermined.
And then what else did you write?
She was a whack job.
Of course, it's undetermined. She was a whack job, right? Those are your two responses, right?
Yes.
You were talking about Dr. Scorti-Bello, the female medical examiner who came to the determination that this was undetermined in terms of the manner of death, correct?
I'm not sure who I'm referencing as far as she was a whack job, but of course it's undetermined is a sarcastic response from me.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're not sure? What do you mean you're not sure who she is? Didn't you testify just yesterday that you were sure that Karen Reed was the she? And now you're not sure who's the she? It's your text message. What do you mean you don't know who the she is? What are you talking about?
When you referred to she's a whack job, were you referring to Dr. Scorti-Bello?
I don't recall.
What do you mean you don't recall? Didn't you? You just yesterday said you recalled.
Were you displeased about the undetermined finding?
No.
Would you
No,
have
really?
had a determined finding that it was a homicide?
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to my office. We still investigate the same exact way if it's ruled determined, undetermined, or homicide.
Well, then why would you say, of course it's undetermined? She was a whack job, sarcastically.
There's a sarcastic remark I made to Trooper DeChico.
Right, which sort of suggests displeasure rather than the reverse, correct?
Objection.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How many murder cases in the history of your career have you worked on in which the medical examiner made the determination that the manner of death could not be determined?
Wouldn't feel comfortable putting a number on it. It's not a lot. I couldn't ballpark it for you, but I know it's not a lot.
Well, Trooper Proctor, you were asked this exact question in February of 2024 at another proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
4 months ago.
And you indicated that you had never seen it in your entire career, correct?
I'm trying to run it.
Well, you were asked the question, so first, what do you mean by, of course it's undetermined? And your answer was, I said it at the time, it was kind of like, not like figuratively, of course, it's an of course, like I had never really seen that before in a homicide, end quote. Correct?
Yes.
Your statement in February of 2024, under oath, was you'd literally never seen that in any homicide you've ever worked, right?
Yes.
After she reached that conclusion, you discussed this with one of your colleagues about how you tried to put pressure on her to change her or alter her opinion, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Is that what
right?
you did?
Pressure? Absolutely not.
Let's turn to tab 12.
Yeah, let's turn to tab 12. Another inconsistency. Well, that's two, I suppose. Two inconsistencies that we just
for this
had.
one, may I
One
publish?
from 4 months ago and one from yesterday. I'm
Trooper
sorry.
DeChico texted you, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination, correct?
Yes.
How did you interpret that? Rookie move, not getting that homicide determination.
Knowing Trooper DeChico, it's him busting my chops and joking with me.
Because you see it as your job, you and Trooper DeChico, to go in and get the homicide determination. That's your job,
Yeah.
right?
Not at all, sir.
No?
You're not looking so much for her opinion as looking to give her your opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
You
sure.
responded, DeChico then responds, not good enough. Should have had me and Jeff do it. Right?
Yes, that was his response.
Busting your chops that you didn't meet the standard of getting her to change her mind to make it a homicide. Right? That's what he was busting your chops about. But in response to getting the information that she made the determination and held on to it, that this was undetermined, your answer was, of course it's undetermined. She was just a whack job. Right?
It was sarcasm.
I feel the sarcasm.
Ultimately, did the doctor change her opinion?
No.
But the determination of the medical examiner, that didn't matter to you, right? Because you had already decided you were going to charge Miss Reed with murder anyway.
Objection.
Yep.
I'll allow it.
Yep.
Yeah, the determination did not matter as we continued on with the investigation.
Notwithstanding the medical findings in the case, correct? That it was not determined to be a homicide,
Yep.
right?
Considering the manner, but
You were actually asked this question, whether or not it would have an impact on your decision, notwithstanding what the medical examiner's decision was, correct? Your decision to charge her. Is that right?
yes.
On February 1st, 2024, you were asked, so what you're telling this grand jury today, and you expect this grand jury to believe that you didn't care whether the medical examiner came back with a homicide determination? It doesn't matter to you? And your answer, quote, no, because either way, Ms. Reed was going to be charged,
Yep.
right?
Correct.
That's how you make a case cut and dry.
Either way, she was going to be charged. Either way, she was going to be charged. Wow. Wow.
Isn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Wow.
In other words, Trooper Proctor, to hell with the medical evidence, Karen Reed was going to be charged because that's what you had decided to do, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, my friends, the corruption of Proctor apparently has reached an ultimate level, as him and DeChico have a conversation in which they express their mutual dissatisfaction that no one went to interfere with the independent evaluation of the medical examiner who was conducting an autopsy. DeChico himself saying, well, this is unacceptable. I should have gone down there and talked to the medical examiner myself, because they came up with the incorrect answer of undetermined as to the manner of death instead of the more correct answer of homicide. And the problem is that no one went to meet with the ME personally, so the ME would come up with this more exciting answer. But never mind, incidentally, because we don't need no stinking medical examiner anyway, because it doesn't matter what the medical examiner says or doesn't says, because, man, we're going to pursue this case no matter what the ME says. No matter what the ME wrote in their report, the fact they wrote undetermined doesn't matter to us. No, no, no. Again, 18 hours into that investigation, we conclude Karen Reed did it. The medical examiner, not so sure, but no further need for us to double check our work. No further need to look into it any harder. No further need to check out other suspects. No need to look into any of the Alberts or the McCabe's or anyone else who might have had potential reasons to do this. No, no, no. None of those things. So, yeah, basically we just have direct corruption in the most disturbing way possible by direct desire to interfere with an independent apparatus of the government. So they will come up with the correct answer, which sounds suspiciously like they wish they had formed a conspiracy. And then we have the fact that it doesn't matter because no matter what happens, we're going to prosecute that woman all the same. Also, by the way, the ME, who's also a woman, is a whack job. Or so we think, because, well, on Monday's testimony, Proctor had said under oath in this trial that he was sure when he said whack job, he meant Karen Reed. But on Wednesday's version of testimony, Proctor indicated that he wasn't sure who he's referring to. So from Monday to Wednesday, we went from, it's definitely Karen Reed I was talking about, to I'm not sure who was talking about. And how many of these times have you ever seen undetermined before? Well, I've never seen it 4 months ago versus I'm not sure how many times I've seen it today. So the continuing, let's say, massaging of the testimony continues, which is even more reflective of his continuing desire to massage every aspect of this case, including the independent medical examiner. We got to make sure all those things are hitting the same bell, man. And I'm going to see to it personally, no matter what. It's truly comical how absurd the corruption of Proctor was. If you tried to write it as a screenplay, no one would believe it. It is that unbelievable.